fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the E6 Komachi top loader form from the brand new Shinkalion Change the World from Takara Tomy. Apparently they're abbreviating this CW, which just makes me think of the now defunct US network. But if you take a look at this little anime character down here, he looks like he'd fit right in on the CW, so we'll just go with it. But yeah, in any case, I took a look at the E5 Hayabusa previously, and I was actually really impressed with it. I wasn't originally going to buy into this line, because this is like our fourth time through Shinkalion, it feels like. But they impressed me. Honestly, the E5 impressed me, and so I decided to grab this one. They change it just enough and make it interesting again to suck me in every single time. But you have the train here, the E5, I'm sorry, the E6. You also have the top loader here, and then of course you have the combined form over here on the right. Taking a look at the packaging up here, just kind of showing off little anime picture again of the character. Here is a picture of the actual toy itself on this side. Over here, just kind of showing you the contents. You got the robot, you got the top loader, and then you get the extra piece, which is needed for the combined form of all three. Very excited for that. I think that's going to be really cool. I did get the E7 as well so that I can do this form. I couldn't find the box set for the E7 anywhere. I had to buy those two separately. And for all of these, I should note, they do sell all these pieces separately. So if for some reason you don't want the extra armor parts, you can buy just the trains. I don't think there's any difference in terms of, what's included. I think it's literally just, it's this in the box by itself and then this in the box by itself, or you can get the gift set. I don't think there's any difference in terms of contents. So if you buy them all separately, you should still get everything. Not really anything going on down here, just your standard warnings and whatnot. Spinning it around to the back, we have some nice product shots of the train mode, the robot without the armor. Here's the top loader down here, and then of course the combined form of the two. And in true Shinkalion fashion, you can go ahead and mix and match those armors. So you can see they have the E5 here using the top loader, and you have the E6 using the trailer. We'll take a look at that a little bit later on. But I think that's really cool that you can swap them around like that. So I'm going to go ahead, get everything out of the packaging here, get all the stickers applied, because I'm sure there will be stickers, and then we'll take a closer look. So here are all of the pieces out of the box. This is everything that comes in the set for the two pieces of the E6 and the top loader. I'm going to take the top loader pieces, and I'm just going to kind of move them off to the side. And we'll start with the pieces that we are going to use to build the E6. If you saw the video for the E5, it goes together very similarly, almost exactly the same. You're going to take this piece and flip this up. You're going to take one of the arm pieces, and you have to look for where the little tab is, because that little tab is going to have to line up with this. So I think I actually have the wrong one here. This is going to click in like that, and then this will tab into that little spot there on the arm. Going to take the other one and do the same thing. So click that in and then tab that in together. And then we're going to take these two pieces and push them together like this. And then this will actually rotate back down like that. So that piece is ready. You're going to take what will be the front of the train. These two pieces here, which are very obviously the waist pieces, they are going to click together, and then you're going to tab that into this little spot here on the back, like so. Then you can take this, and these two pegs right here and here will peg into these two spots right here and here. So go ahead and do that. And then we are going to take these pieces here, and they are going to fill in the space. This little tab or little peg right there will peg in right here. So you'll just pop these in. There you go. We have the E6 Komachi. We're going to take this piece here, which is the rail plate that's going to be compatible with the plow rail, and also you can connect other trains here on the back. So these pegs here on the front will peg into these two spots right here and here, and then the rest of it will just peg into the bottom, and that will give you the full train. And I really appreciate that the entire robot fits into just one piece of the train. That's something that the old ones, you had to have the top section was the torso and the other section was the legs. I really like that they've really just compact this all down into one train. I think that looks much better. So now you have these extra pieces here. Now these are mostly used for the combined mode of all three of them, but you can kind of store these connected to the train. So what we're going to do is take this piece here, and there are 2 pegs right here and here, and they're going to peg in right there and there. So drop this on like so. And then this is going to tab in here. So this tab will tab into the lower of these 2 spots. So just tab that on like so. And then this big square spot down here will peg into this spot here on the back. And you can just pop this on for storage. So you don't have to put that on the back. It's really just a storage spot if you want somewhere to put it in train mode. And then this rolls pretty well. I like that quite a bit. Not a ton of paint on the side. Komachi has most of the paint up here on the top, but I think it looks pretty good. You have that little bit of silver stripe there, and a silver stripe up here as well. But yeah, overall, really nice looking Shinkansen. So we will put that off to the side for the moment, and we will bring these pieces back in, and we will build the top loader. So this goes together really easily. You're going to take these 2 large pieces here, and there are 2 clips right here, and then there are 2 spots right here for them to clip into. So just snap that together very simply. Then we are going to take these 2 large pieces. Actually, these should not be connected still. So apologies for that. These are actually 2 separate little pieces. But you're going to take these and you're going to sandwich these together like that. And then there is a little track right here that you can see. And that is going to slide in on these little tabs right here and here. So that will slide in and kind of click into place. This gun will then slide underneath here. You can see, let me zoom in here so you can actually see this. There's another track right here. So you're going to take this gun and slide that in there, and it will kind of click into place. Then you are going to take this big piece, and you can see that there are 2 peg holes right there and 2 pegs right here on the front. So that's just going to pop in like that. And then these pieces will store on the back. So you have these little peg holes on the side. So you'll just peg these in here and here. And then this little piece here will peg into these little spots right here and here. So drop that on there. And there is the front loader. So if we bring the E6 back in, you can get an idea of how big these are in relation to each other. And they both roll really nicely. I mean, this I think rolls even... Well, the train rolls pretty well too, but honestly, they both roll really nicely. The one thing I will say, I'm a little bummed that this can't raise and lower. As you saw, it just pegs in there, so there is no movement. I was kind of hoping... And it almost kind of looks like the way they have this track molded in. You can kind of see that the track is here, but it's not real. It's just molded in. I was hoping that this piece would be able to go up and down so you could actually use it as a top loader, but unfortunately, not the case. Sticker-wise, not too bad. You can see that these striped stickers, one on each side. Over here, you have striped stickers, one on each side of this section as well. And then really, you have these stickers here for windows to make this look like it's the cab. And then there are actually stickers on the inside as well. So I'd have to take this all apart. I'll show it off when we do the combination, but there's basically 3 stickers on each piece. So one here, and then one on the inside that you can't see. And then the same with that. So not too bad sticker-wise. Honestly, it didn't take me that long to apply them. And again, they're all nice flat surfaces, so not really any issues there. Most of the stickers for the E6 are going to be inside, and you'll see them more in robot mode. But you can see that there are 2 right here. And again, real nice flat surfaces, very easy to apply them. So, yeah, pretty cool. I really like both of these vehicles. Like I said, they really roll really nicely. I think this one even rolls a little bit easier than the train, but they're both pretty great. So let's go ahead and we will start with the robot mode for the E6. Again, if you saw the E5 video, it transforms exactly the same way. We're going to take this section here and pop this off the back, and we'll just set that off to the side. That's not really going to come into play anymore. That's really just for the combined mode. Actually, I guess I will, before we take it completely away, we'll pop off this little piece because you can use it as a shield for the robot. You don't have to. You can leave it on here and not do anything with it, but if you want, it can be used as a shield. So we'll keep that handy for now. But we're going to just basically take this completely apart, the opposite of the way we put it together. I guess I should start by taking this off. And then you can really kind of put this off to the side. This is not going to come into play. I saw some people in the comments of the E5 video I did say that they should have made this into like a riot shield. And that actually would have been a pretty cool idea. They probably could have put just like maybe a little peg like right here. And that way you could just kind of peg into his hand and he could use it as like a riot shield. But I guess that would have gotten in the way of attaching it to the underside of the train. But something like that would have been cool. It would have been neat to make this into a weapon or a shield of some kind. But we're just going to put it off to the side and it won't really come into play again. So we're going to just pop these pieces off like this. We are going to unpeg this section. We are going to, I think that's it for, right, yeah, this stays connected. So you will leave the waist section exactly where it is. So you're going to start off by lifting up this little section. You can kind of see the seam right there. So this is going to flip forward like so. And then there's another seam that you can see right here, and this has to lift up. And it can be a little difficult to pop this up, but there you go. This is going to lift up, and then you're going to take a hold of this section, and this whole section is going to rotate down, which is going to rotate this like body and head section. And you can see that there's a little clip right there, which is going to clip into that section there. So we're going to rotate this up, and then that will clip into place. And then you can go ahead and close this back up. Then you're going to rotate the head 180 degrees. And then you are going to flip up this little spike here on the center section that's in gold. So we'll take this moment to really take a look at the head here. I really like the head sculpt for these. To me, they seem like a mixture between like a Gundam and an Evangelion. And I just think that looks really sharp. Really nice paint applications. You have that little bit of green, the kind of fluorescent yellow for the eyes, the red, the gold, the silver, just really nicely painted. I really like that a lot. And this is on a ball joint, so you have really nice range of motion. You can tilt side to side, look down, look up, certainly look side to side, no problem. So really great job there with the head. Now down here, these are going to be the hips. Really nice range of motion there with ratchets, as you can hear. Front, back, out to the side as we already saw, and then you have a thigh swivel. So pretty cool, really nice articulation already, and we haven't even connected most of the pieces yet. So we're going to take this section here, we are going to split this in half, we are going to flip up this panel because it is pegged into the hand, and then we are going to disconnect the hand. We're going to take this, and you can see there's a double joint right here. This peg is going to peg into this spot right there, so bend it back and peg that in. Then you're going to flip down this section because that will be the foot. And you can see that there's a ball joint there, so you get some nice ankle tilt, side to side, front to back. You can also utilize this hinge if you want to do even more front movement there on the ankle, which is really nice. And then you have your knee right there, so that gives you 90 degrees for the knee. Take this one and do the same thing. We're going to flip this and pop the hand out. Then we're going to flip this around and peg that in. Drop the foot down. And then you have these two sections that will just peg in like so. You want this connection port to be facing forward. So that will clip in, and then we can utilize that ankle tilt so that he will stand just like this. And I will zoom out. There we go. The hand pieces that we took out will extend out like this. You can see that there's a very large pin right here, so that's going to give you your elbow joint. And then you're going to rotate this so that this peg is facing forward. So you want all the screws to be on the back. And also you can kind of see the thumb molded into the fist, so that will also help you know which side to put it on. And then you're going to take one of these pieces, and this little peg right here is going to go right in there and give you your shoulder pad. And then this will connect over here on the side, very simply like that. Let me zoom back out. We're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to flip this around, flip this like this, and then go ahead and peg this in. And then that will finish our second arm. which snaps right in. And there we go. We have our finished E6 robot. Like I said, if you want to take this and peg it onto the side of the forearm here as a shield, you can. You don't have to. You can leave it off to the side if you want. But yeah, he looks good. I really like this a lot. It's very, very similar to the E5, and I'll bring that in a little bit later to do a direct comparison. But you have a little sticker here on the abdomen, you have a sticker on each forearm, and then you have a sticker here on the inside of the leg, which is also very similar to the E5. I think it was the exact same placement for the stickers. Already went over the ball joint there at the head, but you have movement here in the shoulder. You have out to the side movement as well, and you can kind of play with this a little bit too. So if you like a more kind of 45-degree angle shoulder pad, you can do that. If you want it down for some reason, you have a little bit of movement there. I like to put them up at the 45-degree angle. But as you move this around, they'll probably move around a little bit, but you can always just move them back. Bicep swivel, 90 degrees there in the elbow. You just have to watch if you do have the shield attached. It will have a little bit of a clearance issue with the shoulder pad, but you can just kind of rock it to the side with that bicep swivel. And then I don't think we have any movement in the wrist. No, that's one solid piece. You do have a waist swivel. It's actually kind of up in the abdomen, but it is there. And then we already went over the hips and the thighs swivel and the knees and the ankles. So really nice articulation for this, honestly. I really like this quite a bit. I would say it's about as tall as like a Voyager class Transformer. Let's see, what do I have? Well, here is Deluxe class Strong Arm, so you can see it's definitely taller than that. And here is G1 Soundwave, and it's about as tall as G1 Soundwave, I would say. Maybe slightly shorter, but just to give you an idea how it sizes up in terms of some other things that you might have for scale. So yeah, I would say about the same size as a Voyager Transformer. But yeah, really great. Robot looks great. Really nice articulation. Transformation is fun. I mean, it is kind of more of a take it apart and put it together in a different configuration kind of a thing. But still, I really like these quite a bit. So I wanted to bring the E5 in just so you could see the two of them next to each other. They're basically made from the same mold, but with some subtle differences. You can see the contours of the shoulder pads are a little different. Obviously, the head sculpts are different. The front sections here of the train are different. The E5 has this little cannon here that opens up on the front. The E6 does not have that. It almost kind of looks like it might, because that seam is kind of there, but those pieces don't open up. But I would say the forearms are pretty much the same, and everything from the waist down is the same in terms of molding. So they are very similar. Now, if you want to swap the arms around, that should be completely doable, as they are very similar. So we can pop, all these joints are universal, so we can swap the arms. And if you want to swap the legs, you can also do that. So we'll swap these out. So you can have some Christmas robots all in red and green. Pop these in here. So it's not really something they advertise, but again, because they are built off the same molds, you can absolutely do it. So you can switch that around, and also they'll be able to switch the armors, which we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, I just think that's really cool. It gives you some more playability. You can mix and match all the different arms and legs. You could even do, once we bring the E7 in, you could do arms of one, legs of the other. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, very cool. Alright, next up, let's take a look at the combination with the top loader. So we're going to kind of push E6 off to the side here. And we're basically just going to completely disassemble the top loader here. So pop this little section off. Pop these pieces off the back here. Go ahead and pull this section off. Remove the gun from underneath. And then slide this out. And then split this back down the middle. So what we're going to do for these sections, we're actually going to rotate this whole kind of cab section. And you can see here what I meant previously about there being stickers on all three sides. So you can't really see the interior stickers when it's connected, but they are there. So then you're going to rotate this foot section down, and then you're going to take this tire here. It's actually a plastic wheel, but this back wheel is going to flip around like this and kind of become like a nice heel. So that is going to be one of your legs. We will do the same thing over here. Flip this around, and then rotate this section down. Now we have our legs. We'll zoom back out here. So we're going to come over here to the E6. Now, if you watch the video for the Hayabusa, the trailer section's connected into these ports here, but that's not what we're going to do this time. We have to actually take the entire leg sections off, and then these are going to pop on as completely new legs. And this one is backwards. There we go. So now he has these completely new legs. Now for ankle tilt, you can utilize that same swivel that we did for the transformation, and that'll give you some nice ankle tilt there. This little section here is going to be a new crotch plate, so this is going to peg into these little holes right here. You can see that there's a clip here and a clip there. And that will pop on right there. These little sections will actually peg underneath in that same section where we attached the like sled that had the wheels on it. So this will peg underneath here, and it's probably easier to do this before you attach the waist piece, but not impossible. And they'll just peg in there. So that's where those go. Next, we're going to take what were the old leg sections, straighten out the foot if you had it tilted, bring this up like you're transforming it back into the train mode. Then you're going to take this, and you can see this little tab that used to peg into the side of the arm is now going to peg into this little spot right there. So this is going to come around and then fold and bend just like that. So we're going to take this foot, rotate this in, and then flip this around and peg that in. Then we're going to utilize this knee and bend this down 90 degrees. And then we're going to take this large section from the top loader, spin it around, take the gun section here and peg this in right here. And then these are going to use this clip, and they're going to peg in here. So you want the white part to be facing outward. This is going to clip in here, and this one is going to clip in here. And then this whole section will just be a giant backpack. So you can see the square peg right there, and that's going to peg on there. Just like so. Doesn't hard snap in, just kind of sits there. So let me zoom out here a little bit and adjust this. And then the last step is just to give him the gun. And again, if you don't want to use the shield here, you don't have to. You can put that piece back with the other part. But yeah, here he is combined with the front loader. I think it looks really cool. It's interesting how differently they transform. So the other one clipped onto the front, and this time we get all new legs. So I appreciate that, a little variety there. The gun is very cool. It's kind of a bummer that you don't really get any weapons with just the train. So if you decide not to buy the extra vehicles, the auxiliary vehicles to give them these armors, then you're not really going to have any weapons, which is kind of a bummer. I kind of wish this gun came with just the, E6 on its own. But at least we're getting it here. And then you have this giant cannon on the back, which, it's a little ridiculous, and I don't really know what he's aiming at. He kind of has to, like, bend all the way over to aim at things. But, it's neat, just having this giant backpack section here. The other thing you can do, you can actually remove this cannon from here. If we can wiggle that out of there. And then actually take these sections off of the torso. Just wiggle them out as well. And then we can take the gun here and connect these to the front so that they're kind of underneath the barrel with the red, salvo missiles kind of facing forward. And then this will actually insert onto the end of this gun, sliding it on the track. And that'll click into place. There we go. And then you can kind of have like a giant massive cannon if you want to give him a souped up gun. Now, they kind of advertise that these larger combined weapons are for the combined mode of the three of them, but there's no reason you can't utilize them for the individual robots as well, just to give them kind of a massive cannon there. So overall, I think that looks pretty cool. I like this quite a bit. Let's see if I can give him a little bit more of a squat pose here so he fits in frame. But yeah, very cool. I like this a lot. I don't think it's as successful as the combination of the trailer with the E5, just because this backpack doesn't really do it for me as much as those cool wings did. But still pretty cool. I do like the new legs, and I love the giant cannon. So I think that's pretty cool. And as I mentioned before, you can switch the auxiliary vehicles here so that you can have the E6 use the trailer, and you can have the E5 use the top loader. They both look pretty cool. I will also mention, though, that when you're combining with the trailer, you do actually have to use that shield piece because this piece pegs onto that. So you don't have to use it in this configuration, but when you're combining with the trailer, you do need that shield piece. I think the yellow over here works with the green. I don't know that the orange works as well with the red. Again, it's just kind of similar color schemes. The green, I think, is a much better juxtaposition for both the orange and the yellow, and the red is kind of in that same color family, so it doesn't work as well, but I think they both look cool, and I am happy that you can switch these. If you wanted to switch the arms as well, you could do something like that. If you wanted to do kind of a crazy super mode, we could take these arms off, and we could connect these arms, so you're kind of using parts from both. I don't think it's possible to fully combine both of the auxiliary vehicles with one train, but you know, you can mix and match. You could come up with something crazy like that. You know, you can get a little creative with it. I think that's really cool. I really appreciate that you have all the options of switching and, you know, mix and matching, that kind of stuff. One other thing I didn't show off that I should have, this large gun here on the back. So I showed how it can combine with the smaller gun to make the larger gun, but you can also just split these apart. And so if you want him to just use these as individual guns, you can certainly do that as well. They will just peg into the hands like this. So we'll take the smaller gun. I mean, you could even put this on like the side of the forearm and do something like that if you really wanted to. So you have some options, which I think is pretty cool. I kind of like the look of having these two larger guns. It kind of reminds me of the Wing Zero, how he had those double guns. So I think that's kind of cool. The other thing you could do, if you wanted to just go ahead and peg this back in over here, he would just hold it on the one, and then you could have him hold this one. So you could do something like that as well. So again, you have a lot of options, a lot of mix and match potential, a lot of playability, and I think that's really, really cool. So that's going to do it for the E6 Komachi top loader form. This thing's awesome. Honestly, I was really impressed with the E5. The E6 is no different. While the base robots are very similar, they're kind of all built on the same mold, the auxiliary vehicles are very different. They combined into armor very differently, which I think is really cool. So it kind of keeps everything fresh. It gives you a reason to want to collect all of these, as well as the combined mode of the full three once I get the E7 out of the box. This is going to be really, really cool. I'm really excited for this. This line's always been a good time. Great paint applications, great articulation. The transformation is fun. Yes, it's not really a transformation so much as it is take apart one configuration and put it together differently. I understand that, but it's still a lot of fun. I really like how these turned out, and I'm really looking forward to the E7. The only thing, if I really had to complain about anything, you know, putting a lot of the stuff here on the backpack is not as exciting. I thought the combination with the trailer was a little bit more interesting with kind of the energy wings and the sword and all that kind of stuff. But I love the legs down here. I think that worked out really well. I love the gun. I love that you can use these guns separately as well, or combine all three to make one larger gun. I think that's really cool. And just the overall compatibility with this line. You can switch the arms, the legs, the armors, all that stuff, make all kinds of crazy combinations, as well as combining all three of these into a larger robot. I'm really excited for that as well, if you can't tell. So yeah, just honestly, these are a ton of fun. I definitely recommend checking them out. I got mine from Amazon Japan, but it seems like they're very popular because they're hard to find. I usually get stuff from either Amazon Japan or HLJ, and these have been sold out on HLJ for a while. I would have to imagine they're going to put out more of them. Probably just the first run sold out really quickly because of how popular this line is. But yeah, it's a good time. Definitely recommend checking it out. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.